What's
Hello.
up?
There you
My God,
go.
it's so complicated.
I know, right? But we made it happen. That's what matters.
We made it happen. I've never interviewed someone on their page. It's never done that before.
Well, there's always a first time, right?
All
So,
right, exactly. So, how you been? A lot has happened in your neck of the woods, huh?
oh my gosh, I've been so honestly, I'm just feeling blessed all day, every day. But everything is good. Working a lot, trying to do everything I can to show my love back to to the sport, to the IFBB, NBC, all of you guys, fans, supporters. So it's been busy, but very, very, very happy.
Okay, so I want to welcome you to Strength Addicts on your page. And I got my Titan shirt on, and I got Amazon's Fit Bag in the house as well. So, my sponsors, and so you've got some great sponsors also. And so I want to ask you about coming from Brazil to the United States, learning English, which is, again, I don't want to just gloss over that. It's a big deal. When did you come to the United States? How did you learn English? Like all that. We just got to get it out of the way because that's your English is really good, really good.
Yes. So I was actually born in New York and I was raised in
Oh,
Brazil. So
I didn't know
yes,
that.
I moved to Brazil when I was like maybe 3, 4 months old. So I was just get to learn English here. So I grew up in Brazil, and when I was 14 to 15 years old, I moved back to US. And I got here, and it was a challenge to start, like speaking a whole new language in a whole new country. My friends, my family, everybody in Brazil. But you know what? It's all about how bad you want something. And here I bought like a lot of books. I had my dictionary, my little dictionary everywhere I go. And I just like dedicated myself, to learning English. And I was put in high school, so I had no other way, no other choice but
Right.
learn. Brazil, I was like one of the best students in class. I was always like straight A's. So when I got here, I'm like, I don't even speak the language. I get to the classes, I don't even know what the professor is talking about. So it was hard to learn like chemistry and history, all these subjects in another language. So I just had to study the double, harder than anybody else. And I made it happen, like even in my house with my mom and my brother, I'm like, don't speak in Portuguese with me. Even if I don't understand, you have to speak in English because that's the way you learn.
Absolutely. And so I had no idea. So your family is Brazilian, right? But you were born in the United States. I had no idea about that. And I sent Natalia, I sent you a picture from the dentist chair because I was at the dentist a little while ago. That's why I sound a little funny because this side of my mouth I can't feel, but I had to do this. So you had the distinction of turning pro at a ridiculously young age, right? Were you like 19 or 20, 19?
Yes.
So where did you turn pro? And well, let's start with that. Where did you turn pro?
I turned pro at the Nationals in Miami. It was 2015. I was 19 years old.
Wow, that's amazing. But you started out in figure though, right?
Yes, I started in figure when I was 16 to 17. I think 15 to 16 or 16 to 17 years old. I did my first as a teenager, and I did figure for a few years, a couple of years, and I turned pro as figure. I did 2 years after turning pro in figure, and then I switched to women's physique 2 years later.
Right. And then you've done what about five or six Olympias? Six, right?
I've done 7.
Seven. Well, you won now, so yeah, that's absolutely amazing. And the one thing about you that I've always said, and you've done Arnold Classic too, and it's a shame that there's no more women's physique at the Arnold Classic, which is very, very sad. And who knows if there's even going to be bodybuilding. Right now, they got 7 guys, Natalia, which I'm sure you've seen, but 7 guys for a show that pays $200,000. That's not a lot. But the one thing I've always loved is your good sportsmanship. Always. I mean, this year you won, but previous years you've had seconds, you've had thirds. You've seen Shanique win, you've seen Sarah Villegas win. You've always been a good sport, always.
Yes, well, honestly, I believe everything happens in God's timing. If it was not my time, I would respect the athletes, the champs, and continue to work, because I know everything I do is at my 100%. If it's not, like deserving the first place yet, that's not something that's going to stop me. I'm
Right.
just continue to do it because I love this sport, and that's the difference. You're always gonna go one step ahead, one step more when you're doing something that you love. And honestly, I just feel so happy, and I feel like I belong to the stage. And talking to the fans and seeing everybody like happy and excited to watch the shows, this makes me happy, and that's why I keep going and I never gave up. And I know a lot of people say like, "You've been second, second, second," like so many times.
Right.
Yeah, but you, the thing is like it doesn't. I mean, it's not about motivation, discipline. It's just about passion. It's just something that it's inside me. I just can't help it. I keep going, and thank God this year I got this first place, and I plan on holding this with all my love, all my heart, and not letting it go.
And I think that some people, they take a third place or a second place or whatnot, and automatically they talk politics or rag on the judges or rag on other competitors, but you don't do any of that. And I cheated because I listened to your interview with Dennis James, but it was such a good interview because you said the mind is the most powerful part of the body, really. And not only don't you attack judges or attack promoters or other competitors, but even if there's negativity in social media, which there's a lot of negativity, you never mix up with that. You don't pollute your mind with that.
I don't, because just like you said, I tell this to everybody every single day. You have 100% control of your mind. It's like a computer. You can program your thoughts. You can program everything. So I just like block myself from negativity, and I don't let it get to me. When I feel like the vibe is not good, the energy is not good, I believe it's contagious.
Mm.
If I have energy, you're gonna talk to me and feel that. You're gonna feel my passion, my energy, my excitement. If I don't, you're gonna feel it as well. So I just try to stay away from when I feel somebody's just like too negative or things are not going the way it's supposed to go. And about the judges and talking bad about it, like this is my sport. Why would I do that?
Right.
Like, I want more people to get involved. I want more people to learn about the sports. I want more people to just like become fans, come to the shows, watch, support us. So there's no reason why I would step out of a stage talking bad about the judges, the promoters, the organization, because honestly, I think that that's not adding up for anything. You need to know how to win, you need to know how to lose. That's what a real champ is. It's not only when you get a first place, when you have a gold medal, it's about like having a second, third, or even last place, but still doing your part as an ambassador, as someone who actually wants the sports to grow.
I think that's so important. And there's like three different things I want to get at with your answer, but the ambassadorial quality is so important of how you said growing the sport, doing these interviews, making appearances, and always being of a positive mindset. That grows a sport, as opposed to being negative, attacking everybody. That's going to push people away, and you want to bring them in. So that's great.
Exactly. Like the future of the sports honestly is in our hands. Like whatever we do now is going to determine how the sport's going to be in 10 years, 20 years from now. So I just want to like show everybody how capable we are of making like creating a legacy. Like Joe Withers didn't create this big show, this big federation for nothing. It's our job to continue that. So I always tell everybody, educate yourself, learn about the history of the sports, tell other people, because when you go on stage and you know what it actually means to be on that stage at the Olympia stage or any NPC and IFBB stage, it just like feels differently. Like how hard the Withers, the Mannion family, Jake Woods, all of them work to have what we have today. So you're just more like appreciative of everything.
And I want to make an observation, and I don't want you to agree or disagree because I don't want to get you in trouble.
Okay.
But my observation is that Dana Lynn Bailey did so much for women's physique as the inaugural Miss Women's Physique Olympia. I feel like you and Sarah Villegas are really two ladies that are going to follow through with that. That's nothing against Shanique, and that's nothing against Juliana, but they had amazing physiques. Juliana and Shanique had amazing physiques, but and they still do, but in terms of growing the sport, what you're doing here and what Sarah did by putting her own money and trying to grow the division, what Dana was doing at the Expos is so important, you know, connecting with the fans, doing these interviews, even interviews with small platforms like mine, you know, not just doing Muscle and Fitness or Dennis James or Wings of Strength, but doing the really small interviews too. That does so much to grow the sport. Because I feel like that narrows the gap between you, the star, and us, the fans. And if fans and champions are like, you know, can interact on an everyday basis, that's the key to success, I think.
I agree because it's like we need each other. You know, who are we on stage without the fans, without you guys? We
Right.
need you. Also, like, why not take the time and show some love back to you? Because I see everything that you do, always promoting the sport, always talking, doing all the interviews, studying the athletes so you can come here and interact with us. So that's very important, and people should appreciate you because you're actually like very important for the sport's growth. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you, and I appreciate it. And one of the things about you, I almost said Juliana. I always talk about different champions. Juliana's like you're gonna win. Could you imagine if you won as many titles as her? And you may. That's the thing. That's the thing. What I love about you, Natalia, is that you're so humble, and that's so important. And how you just said a second ago, how you need the fans, how a champion right now, you're at the very top. You know what I mean? You're at the top of the mountain, and for you to say that you need the fans is so humbling because, again, I don't want to get you in trouble, but not all champions think like you. Some champions currently or previously are of the opinion that, you know, to even look at the fans is like doing them a favor. So I think it's great that you're so humble, and I don't think that you're going to lose your humility now that you're at top. I also don't think you're going to lose your hunger because I think you know that, you know, if you don't give 100%, you may not be the champion next year. And I think that hunger is still alive and well within you.
Absolutely. I think no, I am positive that I would never lose that. I have a lot of values and that's something that is inside me and it doesn't matter if I win like five, six, seven, one, two, it doesn't matter how many titles I have. This is who Natalia Coelho is and nothing's gonna change that, you know. So if I got the fans that I have, thank God I am very blessed to have these people supporting me. You know, I'm gonna take it by granted. You know, I always try to reply to everybody. I read all the messages, the comments. I try to support everybody in YouTube videos because we're one big family. So
Absolutely.
just like you said, I'm not gonna stop. I know all these beautiful ladies in my category are very hungry as well, just like I am. So it's something that is in my mind like 365 days a year. You know, I think I live, this is my life. And that's what I want to represent, you know. I want to be just like, I don't like the female version of Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, I came from another country. I didn't speak the language, and I had a big passion and education and discipline and everything that a champion needs. You know, so I have so many plans, big plans for our industry. Not only thinking about myself, like, oh, I want to be this, I want to be that. No, I want us to become something that we have the potential for that. We just need a lot of people, like all the athletes, all the current champs, the fans, everybody to work together, and we're gonna go to a next level.
Absolutely. And I'm not going to keep you for an hour, or actually, you're not going to keep me because I'm on your page.
Yeah,
It's interesting though with your Instagram, so you can't join other people's lives, which is crazy, but you can invite to yours.
you know what? That's something that just happened, like I think 2 weeks ago, or I don't know why. Every time that I try to go to somebody's lives, it's not going to.
Hmm.
So Instagram a message, you know, an email to see why this is happening.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are having the same issue.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a bug on Instagram. I don't know.
I haven't had that issue, but I'm not as popular as you. I think it happens if you get too big. They're like something's going on. Um, but one thing too that I wanted to talk about, you know, and just a couple more things, but so the good sportsmanship I think is very important. The ambassadorial qualities I think are very important, very very important. And I also want to give you kudos because while a lot of people are just about the flavor of the week, whether they focus only on Instagram or they focus only on TikTok is really big. You're on all of them and you give each one time. You're on Facebook. A lot of people don't use Facebook anymore. You still use Facebook and you're very active on there because there's a whole world of fans that prefer Facebook over Instagram. And I think you as a champion, and even before you were Miss Olympia, as a top contender, you were very aware of that. And so I feel like you're everywhere, a little bit everywhere, and that's important.
It is because even like I notice like more of the old school
Mm.
bodybuilders and fans, they are more
Yeah.
on Facebook than Instagram. Instagram's a new platform. And I want to interact with them. I want them to know who I am, and I want to know, their history as well.
Mm.
So it's important for us, like the new generation, to know where we came from, and for them to see what we are doing with the sport, so we can always stay connected. So I try to stay everywhere I can, all the platforms as much as I can.
Right. And I think that's very important, and especially for muscular women also, because, you turned pro in 2015. So in 2015, you saw how, women's bodybuilding looked like it was going to die out, and women's physique, they brought it in to sort of, I think, to sort of have something, but then that started to die out too. So, now seeing someone like Jake Wood, who has, breathed so much life into it, and not only breathe life into it, he's making money with it. He's showing the world, look, you have to know how to market it, but if you know how to market it, this is a pot of gold. So, what are your thoughts on Jake Wood?
Oh my gosh, Jake Woods is the best. Honestly, not only like in the sport,
Hmm.
but the personality. I got the chance to talk to him, to have dinner with him once when I was in Arizona, the headquarters there. I filmed with Dennis James, as you said, for his podcast. I filmed with Alina Popa, and I filmed with Isabel for the Pit Rock Star show. So it was just like an amazing time meeting everybody and just seeing everything that Jake does. And he's really, really passionate for the sport.
Hmm.
And this is that we needed. Not talking about, not talking bad about whoever was in power before,
Right.
but power is just like a different feeling because now we know that he's going to do everything that he can to help the sport, to help the athletes. And just like you said, we have women's bodybuilding back because of
Right.
Jake. Just a fan of the sport, and that makes everything different. It's like a special touch in our sport.
Definitely. And I work with Amazon's Fit Mag, and they're doing some amazing stuff with muscular women also. And I feel like, and I know they want to shoot with you also. And I have to tell you that, I feel like the biggest mistake that was made some years ago was they did not know how to market muscular women. And instead of learning how to do it, they just got rid of it. And so Jake is doing such big things. And I hope Arnold, pays attention, and Arnold
Mhm.
reconsiders because to not have women's bodybuilding, not have women's physique, not have figure, it's just not right. So hopefully, and again, there's money to be made. That's the thing. This is not a charity, like you just need to know how to market it correctly. Now, one thing I do want to ask you, you are somebody that I think I don't know if it's easy to you, but you know how to come in really hard and really shredded, maybe even too shredded for women's physique. And I know that you kind of scaled it back a little bit, and you were able to win the title, which is amazing. But what are your thoughts on the female bodybuilding look? Because I know a lot of fans out there are like, well, is Natalia ever going to go that route? Obviously, I don't think you're going to because you're at the top of women's physique. Why would you? But what's your look? What's your thought on the women's bodybuilding look?
I honestly love the look that they're bringing back. Drea, my big sister, we are actually going to be together next week and the week after. We are doing some seminars together, some workshops. We are going to Beth's gym together. So we have a lot of plans together. She's amazing. I think her look is very feminine. It's very nice. She's very classy. So I think it's going to the right direction. That's what the judges want. That's what we want in the sport. It's muscles, of course, but it's still like the femininity and everything that we need. It's like a big package. So as you said, I am doing well in women's physique. My heart is 100% in women's physique. I admire the women's bodybuilding a lot. I am a fan. I'm always watching, studying each and every one of them. But I don't plan on going anywhere as of now because I have so much to give back to the women's physique division. I have so much to help our division to grow. For me and my women's physique sisters, we are here together on stage. I understand it's a different story. We are competing against each other, but off stage, we need to be together. We need to help each other to grow, and that's how the division is going to get better. So I have so many plans, exciting things for us coming up that you guys are going to be very proud. All the women's physique girls are going to be very happy. and I'm doing that for us, not just for me. So we're gonna be doing some big things in the future.
Absolutely. And that would be a great point to end it. But I still have one more question. But I think that is great, and I also think that it's great that you are happy and proud to be in women's physique because other folks in different divisions, men and women, they do real well, and then they jump to another one or they move around. No judgment, but I think it's fantastic that your heart is in women's physique and that you want to grow that division, that you want to foster goodwill amongst the competitors is very important, very important. And so I think you really will grow it, and I think hopefully you'll bring more ladies into it.
You know what I love the most is like when I look back and I see all these, like in this 80s and 90s, the bodybuilders, they do like Jay Cutler and all of them, they do like these tours around the whole world together, all the athletes, So they became friends. They are really like a family. You see like Dennis James talking about the years that he used to compete, and then you see like Sean Ray, and then you see Dorian Yates, you see Jay. Dorian Yates, not so much because he was a little bit more, in his cave. But you see, at least I hear all these stories, I watch all the podcasts, and I'm just like, this is so amazing. The relationship, the brotherhood that they had. So we need that. That's how they made this sport get to where it is, and now it's our job to continue moving forward.
Right. And you said something there that made me think, a lot of what you said made me think, but you're also a fan. I mean, even though you're the number one women's physique competitor in the world, you are still a fan.
Listen, I think I'm like the biggest fan. Like, for you to have an idea, I go to all the NPC shows around here. I travel all over the US just to go to NPC shows. I'm not talking about the pro shows because I also go to them, but I like to see who's coming up. I study them, I pay attention to them because I'm the first one, like I get in the shows and I'm sitting the first row from the beginning to the end. The show is over and I'm still there sitting like a young girl, like, no, one more.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, do you ever compliment any up and coming competitors?
Absolutely. I go backstage, I talk to them.
Wow.
Some of them, and they ask for advice. And sometimes I go to them, I approach them in a very nice way. I don't want to just come out of a sun and say something because I respect people and I know some people don't want to hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be with open arms to talk, hug, take pictures, give advice. But sometimes you have to respect the ones who, just want to do their own thing. But it's important, just like you see Tyler Mannion, the judge, going backstage, Tarek, they give feedback right there backstage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, it's the Olympians, the pros could also help out, go back there, show some support, encourage some people, and that's really going to motivate them.
I think that if you gave like an up and coming women's physique competitor like a compliment, she would die. I mean, could you imagine Miss Olympia to be backstage and say, "Oh, your quads are great. You have good separation. You're a great poser," something like that? I would think people would just like lose their mind. And I think it's great how you talked about Tyler and Tarek and some of the other judges that go backstage because, again, last time, but I did really like your interview with Dennis James. And I heard how you spoke to Sandy about, like, why am I not doing well in figure? Why am I not doing well in women's physique? What do I have to do? And based on their answer, you implemented that, whether it was changing your physique a little bit here or there or changing divisions, but you asked for the feedback and you implemented the feedback. And I think you probably would still do it as Miss Olympia.
Absolutely. I won. I got first place at the Miss Olympia. I am the current Miss Physique Olympia. I am very proud of this title. But still, the first thing I did was to send them an email to Steve, Sandy, Tyler. I talked to a few judges there, and I got feedback because there's always room for improvement. There's always something that I can get better. It's not because you're number one in the world in a show or whatever that you're gonna feel like you're superior and nobody can beat you. Everybody can beat everybody at any given day. But I'm gonna make their life as hard as they can to beat me because I'm working every single day with my heart, and that's the difference when you do things when you enjoy the process, because it's gonna get hard, but I enjoy getting hard. I enjoy the sacrifices that I don't really think it is. It's just part of the game. So it's, again, everything goes back to your mindset, to your mental health. If you take care of your brain, you're gonna go very far.
And that's why we all love you, and we're just so humble. And like you just said, even when you won the Olympia, there's still room for improvement. You're still gonna ask for feedback. No Olympia champion thinks like that. So that's amazing. So I want to thank you very much for doing this interview with me on your page. I know you have an appointment at 8, so hopefully you can get a little bit of rest. I don't think you've had any rest since you won the title, but
I will rest later. Now it's time to give back, to talk to all of you. I am, I do that very, very happily.
okay, well, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it. For your Miss Women's Physique Olympia Natalia Coelho on her page. This is Christian Duke, StrengthX.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so
All
much.
right, you're gonna post this, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye.